Welcome back, everyone, to another Company of Heroes 2 replaycast. We are back. This time it's a 1v1 sent in by, obviously, Earth, and he's going to be playing as the Soviet Union in Crossing in the Woods. His opponent is going to be Von Ivan, the greatest troll in the United States of America, playing as the the OKW. And yeah, so he's going to be coming out with a Kübelwagen right at the start, some haze going around, and a special rifle command for Earth. So, of course, Crossing in the Woods, in case you do not know this map, fucking annoying. It's got a couple of field points right at the corners. Of course, one of them is dominated by this annoying building, the other one's dominated by this annoying building. Both of them have quite a lot of no cover around, which is a slight bit of heavy cover, one with the well and the other one with the truck. And of course, the VPs are in the middle of a river with tons of negative cover all around. So this map seems to be made exactly to piss off players when your troops head up down to actually capture anything. So right now, the Kübelwagen is going to be able to just mow down those poor engineers as they try to get to the house. So the Kübelwagen is going to have to retreat because, of course, being a vehicle just does not have the ability to deny the building to the combat engineers. That would have been followed up by some penals getting in the building, and at that point, the Kübelwagen would have definitely lost. However, it's going to lose anyway because of the M3 Scout Car coming in. Of course, the M3 Scout Car can just chase down the Kübel like a rabid dog. And I think that the Kübel isn't going to be able to do anything about it because there's a lot of Volksgrenadiers and Sturmpiles that just can't really support it in any form or capacity. So it's going to go down, and unfortunately, that also means that it goes pretty much with the 210 manpower that Von Ivan spent on it at the start. Is that really? Yeah, 210 manpower. Not the best possible loss right at the start of the game, especially for an OKW player. You're going to be hurting for manpower in the early game, especially if you're going to be starting to take some losses on your Volksgrenadiers, which is likely to happen considering that it is a Soviet Tier 1 with penals. Penals, of course, being very powerful with their SVTs right at the start. And in fact, we're going to be seeing that already. The Volksgrenadiers from Von Ivan pushing up to try to get to the cutoff point for the Soviets are going to get kind of intercepted by these penals. The penals are going to do a bit of a dance and then turn around and pretty much execute these Volksgrenadiers at close to point blank range. So that is unfortunate. Another loss coming up. Is this going to be a wipe? I don't think so, but it is possible. I mean, the 50 cal on that Scout Car is pretty dangerous, and these guys have run through a little bit of negative cover, thus giving the enemy a little bit more accuracy, but yeah, overall, they're going to be able to escape. And still, yeah, this guy is in trouble. So these Volksgrenadiers are not in a good position. However, the penals are taking damage of their own. They do throw the satchel charge, and they don't manage to get the wipe off on that Volksgrenadier, who deftly kind of avoids it. And right now, we also have a flare. So, of course, Von Ivan picks Overwatch Doctrine. What is it with Overwatch Doctrine these days? I will never know. It's the second time I see it after like basically seeing it 2 times in the whole time period when it was released, and then not seeing it for a long time. But I guess it's going to be around. I mean, you're going to have the Goliath available to, of course, Von Ivan. With 100 munitions, he can get himself a mobile mine, or I guess you could say a mobile demo charge. And that would be quite good if used correctly. Of course, it can camouflage into heavy cover and into light cover, just like the sniper can. So it's dangerous. Don't be walking into those. But, yeah, nothing too major going to be coming out of either player. So let's just speed it up. We have, of course, 4 Volksgrenadiers for Von Ivan, plus a truck, which might get turned into anything at this point. We don't really know. Considering the Soviets are going for the Tier 1, maybe a mechanized, indeed it is a mechanized regiment headquarters isn't that bad of an idea, considering the Lux is going to be very powerful against the penals. If it can keep itself at range with its excellent maneuverability and speed, it isn't going to be pretty much hurt at all by the satchel charges which have a pretty close range. And so overall, the Penals are going to be pretty much bleeding manpower for Earth and not doing much else. That is the plan, of course, for Von Ivan. We'll see if that actually reaches completion. Right now, his Volksgrenadiers are doing as well as they can be expected to, considering they're facing up against 3 Penal battalions, plus a scout car. Still no Flamers coming in for the Combat Engineers. They are coming in right now, though. So soon enough, this will be turned into a Clown car, and that will not be that fun for these poor Volksgrenadiers. However, the Sturm Pioneers can get close and do quite a lot of damage, forcing them back and kind of buying Von Ivan a little bit of extra time to deal with them and get out some counters. We do see a Goliath, which interestingly enough will take away some munitions for possible Panzerfausts from the Volksgrenadiers. So the Scout Car is actually going to be, paradoxically, a little bit safer because the Goliath is on the field. However, we do have a doctrinal pick from Earth as well, so he's going to go with the Dushk. Of course, the Lend-Lease Doctrine is very, very strong right now, because not only of the Dushk, which can provide a massive, massive level of suppression, especially on an open map like this, also because, of course, the M4C Shermans later on are extremely strong, and they do not require tier 4. So overall, not the worst possible pick for Earth, especially since it's a 1v1 and it's a relatively open map, so again, he can make good usage of the Dushk and great usage of the M4C Shermans with their nice speed and their excellent maneuverability and decent gun. Right now, however, we do have the Lukes coming in for Von Ivan. Of course, as soon as he got the fuel, he immediately started building that. Pretty good idea, and right now it seems like the Dushk is getting pretty close to this Goliath, and the Goliath charges in, sees its moment, and well, I am pretty sure that this Dushk is going to go down. 100, yes, seems good. Yeah, 100 munitions well spent because he's going to be able to steal the Dushk. That is a great, great pickup. Because not only he Earth loses 300 manpower, but I guess you could say Von Ivan gains 300. I guess you could say either 300 or 230 manpower, considering he's not going to have to build a MG34 machine gun. However, the Dushk does also have a little bit of extra perks compared to the MG, of course. Having those armor-piercing rounds is going to be fairly useful against the M3 Scout Car. And the M3 Scout Car is also going to have some problems because of the Lukes. The Lukes charges in. It should probably activate. Yes, it does activate target vehicles, and it does destroy the Scout Car. There's, however, a mine. So once again, those very, very dangerous hidden traps are going to be playing a little bit of a role. Right now, another Dushk is purchased by Earth, and of course, what this means is that he does not have tier 2. He does not have the weapon support Campanella. And the reason why, I think, is that he wanted to supplement the lack of MGs from the support weapons Campanella with the Dushk machine guns. The problem with that is that, of course, he does not have any ZIS anti-tank guns. So, considering that Von Ivan rushed for that Lukes as he probably should have, at this point, Earth is in a very, very, very nasty situation where he has absolutely no counter to the Lukes, unless he can get his Penal battalions close enough to the Lukes to throw a satchel charge, which would mean that the Lukes has to screw up, because otherwise there's no way that this Panzer II is going to get close enough to the Penals. Considering that this map is quite open, doesn't really have a lot of line of sight blockers, it isn't really going to happen a whole lot of times that the Penals can just kind of hide themselves behind something and then let the Lukes come in close. So the result of that is that Von Ivan, as you can see from the map, let's go take a look very quickly, he managed to form a bit of a concave and he's pushing up. He's got control of both fuel points, and right now, unless, yeah, unfortunately he's gonna lose the Dushk again. Is he? Oh, Luke's to the rescue. Luke's to the rescue, and yeah, he's gonna be able to escape with that. So pretty nice. Manages also to save his loot from enemy hands, but overall, yeah, he's managed to get quite a lot of progress done, and also stealing those support weapons is pretty much helping him push Earth back into his base. Right now, however, really the main concern for Von Ivan would be to get himself some AT, I feel like, because right now, yeah, he does have the Lukes, he does have the Goliaths and the Volksgrenadiers, and he's getting a lot of Volksgrenadiers upgraded, it seems, at least one squad. Only one squad so far, but soon enough he will, I guess, want to upgrade them all. Still, he needs a little bit of, I guess you could say, security in case Earth actually went for example, a tier 3. Right now, he's dropping in some fuel, and he has 176 fuel already. Of course, each of these is like 10 fuel, right? No, 20. Yeah, 10 fuel, so 30 fuel overall. Yeah, he does have enough enough resources to go for at least Su-76 or a T-70, either of those. Maybe even 2 T-70s or maybe both. Su-76 and T-70. So the threat of actually vehicles coming in from the Soviets is quite a bit higher than the threat of infantry, especially considering the Lukes being on the field and all the upgrades going into the Volksgrenadiers. So overall, I would say that I guess the smartest pick for von Ivan right now would be a Raketenwerfer. Although what he's doing right now, I actually kind of like. He backticked to the battle group, and now he's going for a Mapax-Wagen, a infrared half-track, which is, of course, a very, very good idea, because this will be giving him quite a lot of vision over such a small map, especially, and will allow him to have extra intel on what Earth is planning, especially because right now he's kind of pinning him into the base. So if he can position his half-track somewhere, for example, like over here, he can, I'm guessing, pretty much see most of the base just by positioning it and, you know, letting go. Although we're going to have to see. Of course, he's trying to defend it with some Sturmpioneers, very aggressive, coming in right up to the base. Pretty much only possible right now because he's sure that there's no there's no enemy vehicles. However, he does know from the spotting information of the half-track that there is a tier 3 on the field right now for Earth. So, of course, he should be very, very careful right now, and indeed, we do see a Su-76 being purchased by Earth. What does Earth see? Absolutely nothing. This is a pretty bad position to be in, especially considering there's a triple cap going for the Germans. So, 5 more minutes and Earth is out of the game. He's going to be out of tickets. And with the Su-76 being a fixed-gun assault vehicle that's mostly favorably used against tanks, and right now the only tank on the field for the Germans is a very, very fast one, you can guess that the actual positioning of this Su-76 isn't going to be all that easy for Earth. Right now, yeah, he's going to have a lot of trouble actually protecting the flanks of his Su-76 from a lot of Volksgrenadiers. And here comes a Goliath actually from the rear. There's 2 Goliaths on the field, and it looks like the first one will be used and very, very, very nearly taking out the Su-76. He will try, von Ivan, to finish it off with a Lukes. Can this be done? I don't think so. I mean, Lukes is quite far away, but the Su-76 actually stops, which is definitely a big mistake. And right now, the Panzer II with its autocannon will be able to destroy it, but also runs into the mine. And so that will be a bit of a grape swap, I guess you could say. One tank goes down and the other one does as well. So bit of a suicidal run for the Lukes that was not meant to be suicidal. There is, however, a Puma being built by von Ivan, or rather built by von Ivan, which is definitely going to counter that T-70, and in fact Earth smartly decides to cancel the T-70 as soon as he sees the Puma. Right now the Puma isn't really that big of a threat. I mean, you could see that von Ivan went for that Puma to counter the Su-76, of course thanks to its very, very good maneuverability and of course even better range. It can pretty much match the Su-76 when it comes to firepower. Of course the Su-76 does have a little bit of a quicker reload time, so and on a one-on-one the Puma would lose to the Su-76, but with its extra mobility the Puma can choose its fights. Of course that never really came into play because the Su-76 was destroyed by the Goliath/Lukes combination. However, this leaves the Puma into a very, very awkward situation where it is the only sort of vehicle on the field, and when the Puma is the only vehicle on the field, it's kind of out of a job. It's mostly meant to take down allied light vehicles, and I guess you could say it's also useful against medium tanks, but without that, it's going to be stuck sort of pea-shooting away at infantry, and as you can see, it does have a bit of an effect, already getting 3 kills on these penals, but it isn't really the most effective thing around. A Lukes would have been absolutely 100% superior to that. However, we do see that von Ivan has been pushing up. He's managed to capture the strategic point right outside the base of Earth. He's also managed to capture the left side field point and isolate the right side field point. So as you can see, the fuel situation is very much in favor of von Ivan. Right now he's going to be pinning Earth down into the base, and Earth needs to get something that can actually break himself out of this pocket that he's been forced into. Right now, he's, you know, his I guess you could say recent purchases have been 2 Dushkas, which isn't that good of a unit to actually push into enemy forces, and as you will see, is also quite vulnerable to these Goliaths that are roaming around like a terror. So right now, I would definitely say that Earth is waiting for an M4C Sherman. And once he gets that M4C Sherman, he's going to be in a good shape. But for now, he only has to stall and try to capture as many VPs and stall the VP bleed as much as possible. So he's going to be finding a bit of a bandage action to put up some patches into his ticket counter. He's down to 145, so he needs absolutely to get as many as many tickets as possible. And that's what he's doing with his Pinols. Of course, that's what they're good for. They're pretty damn decent at taking down enemy infantry, and they have 6 men, so they're quite resilient. They can come in and they can capture the point. And also, he's also going to try to put up a little bit of a attempt to recapture the left side field, to at least get himself some extra fuel to get this exact unit, the M4C Sherman. M4C Sherman going to be quite useful against the Puma, but mostly I feel like Earth went for it because, of course, it's going to be good against the infantry with its 50 caliber machine gun upgrade, and it's going to be especially useful later on once Von Ivan actually goes for tier 4, which is going to be pretty soon. We do have a Schwer Wehrmacht Schlepper supply half-track on the field, so he will turn that into a Schwer Panzer headquarters soon. And right now, the Goliath strikes again, taking down the Dushka. So another Dushka going down for Earth. Definitely not having the best day with those. Right now, the M4C is going to be coming in and plowing into that poor Puma. Pops Panzer Technician. Excellent attack round shot from Earth's M4C Sherman. However, this is very, very dangerous. Charges through the smoke when there's 4 enemy Volksgrenadiers on the field. That was definitely reckless from Earth, and he's lucky that he does not get punished by Von Ivan's Panzerfausts, because I'm guessing Von Ivan was busy microing somewhere else, perhaps on the left side. That was very, very, very close. He was in Panzerfaust range to these Volksgrenadiers, and just generally you don't ever want to, I guess you could say, face check into a big puff of smoke where anything could be hiding. So overall, M4C Sherman lucky to be alive. He's going to still take a Panzerfaust and be damaged, but overall, it's pretty safe back in the rear of the Allied lines. Soon enough, Earth is going to actually have to go for a second engineer squad. He's only got a one unit of combat engineers. That's fine enough to repair one M4C Sherman for the now, but he's going to want to get a second one, not only to increase his repair speed, but also because he has upgraded this first one with a flamethrower. Obviously, was meant to be stationed in the M3 clown car. But, of course, now that the M4C Sherman is on the field, I guess you could say that mines start to become really a very dangerous business, and also Goliaths. I'm not sure if Minesweepers actually help in detecting Goliaths, but I guess it's worth a try, because right now he's still very much going to be afraid of that. So the Puma goes down, as we imagined it would. I mean, of course, the M4C is quite superior to the Puma in pretty much every way. But, yeah, what can Von Ivan do? I mean, he's lost one Volksgrenadier somewhere, so he's going for another one, at least replenishing his army, and he's also going to lose a Sturm Pioneer. So right now, Von Ivan, a little bit on the back foot, in fact, very much on the back foot, is going to have to rebuild some of his troops that he's lost. And then what is his plan for the late game? I mean, of course, since he has gone for Overwatch Doctrine, he doesn't really have any late game call-ins that he can rely on, so he's going to have to use something from the Schwer Panzer headquarters. Of course, he's also got 4 buildings set up, so he might want to go for a KT. Waiting for a KT would take quite a while. I mean, at least, what, like 10 more minutes? No, more like 8 minutes. Still, that's quite a lot, and oh, that was very unfortunate. That would allow Earth to pump out at least 1, if not 2 more M4Cs. Yeah, in fact, 2 more M4Cs in the meantime. So 3 M4Cs versus a KT really isn't the best possible, I guess you could say, matchup. But Von Ivan might just want to secure his late game in some way or another, and considering that he does not have, again, the Command Panther or the Jagdtiger, which would be a terrible idea in this matchup anyway, he's going to go for the KT, maybe. Maybe he might want to go for a Panther regardless from the Schwer Panzer headquarters, which would also be quite good to deal with the M4Cs. Again, though, by the time the Panther comes out, there's going to be a second M4C on the field, and overall, swarms of M4Cs versus or at least 1 or 2 Panthers isn't really the best possible matchup for the Panthers themselves, because the Panthers are only going to be useful against the M4Cs, whereas the M4Cs are going to be useful not only against the Panthers, but also against the German infantry, which is right now kind of struggling. As you can see, von Ivan is pulling in some troops to try to recapture some of these crucial points, and having some successes. Right now, he's going to rather win the fight for the right side, but he's going to lose the fight on the left. And overall, we have a triple cap going. Earth does have the control over both fuel points, which is going to be nullified right now. There goes another penal. In fact, the first penal to go down in the entire game. Still, Earth does have a bit of an advantage, and that's for the first time pretty much in this entire game after, just a very, very early beginning. So it's good for Earth, definitely, but he needs to make use of this advantage as much as possible. Right now, he's going to have to be dealing with this Obersoldaten that will be very strong in dealing with, of course, the limited infantry from the Soviet side. We have 3 Dushka machine guns, which aren't going to be all that useful against the Obersoldaten, because if the Obersoldaten start to get quite vetted up, they can just very, very quickly demolish machine guns, and they can essentially perma-snipe the gunner before the machine gun actually has a chance to suppress them. So if the Obers can get a lot of veterancy, these machine guns will be quite nullified indeed. And right now, the fact that this M4C Sherman could be capping this point with for secure mode, and he's not doing it, is actually triggering me. But we do have a Jagdpanzer being built by von Ivan. Interesting choice, I feel like. I don't really like it, considering versus Lend-Lease. We already know that there's going to be M4C Shermans coming through. I mean, the Jagdpanzer, yeah, it's a pretty decently cheap anti-vehicle option that, of course, can deal very well with Shermans at a sort of a shootout type of situation, but the Shermans will be flanking it, and if the Jagdpanzer gets flanked, then it isn't really going to be able to do all too much, and the M4C Shermans are excellent for flanking. They have pretty good maneuverability, they have very, very decent accuracy on the move, and overall, they just, especially once they get a little bit of veterancy, they can do quite a lot of work. And right now, we're going to be seeing a bit of an attack from Earth against the Schwerpanzer. So we're going to have the second M4C coming in to try to help to destroy the Schwerpanzer. Of course, the Jagdpanzer might just repel them, but he misses the first shot, actually hits the Schwerpanzer headquarters. So this will allow the 2 M4Cs to destroy the building, and in fact, also to escape pretty much with their lives. So M4C Sherman getting spotted by the map Hexwagen, which of course has been working towards von Ivan's intel gathering. But with another M4C Sherman being present on the field, and the first one going to be easily repaired, we still have quite a decent tank presence for Earth on the field, losing nothing and pretty much destroying that Schwerpanzer. So at this point, this does not only mean that, of course, von Ivan went for a Jagdpanzer 470 and then lost his building to produce them. This also means that pretty much unless he wants to spend 140 more fuel plus the cost of the truck, which is like, what, 15 fuel, I think? Oh, damn it, doesn't show me. Yeah, still, I think it's 15 fuel. He's gonna have to spend quite a lot of fuel to just go for a Panther. So at this point, I feel like the King Tiger is really kind of a forced choice. And here comes another, I guess you could say, swap of Dishkas. So the Dishka's gonna get, changed hands again into the German side. Of course, 2 Dushkas on the field for Earth and 1 for von Ivan right now, so not the worst. And right now, the Jagdpanzer's in trouble. He's going to get chased into the basically rear by the Veterancy 2 M4C Sherman, and the Veterancy 0 M4C Sherman is going to be coming in from the other side. So even if these 2 Panzerfaust go in and damage the engine of this M4C, which is going to happen, the Jagdpanzer is still pretty much boned. So the M4C is up to Vet 3. Due to that nice bit of extra damage that we've got, and a Goliath looks like exploded and didn't take out the Penal Battalion. So overall, again, another win-win situation for Earth. Gets to have the cake and eat it as well. Destroys the Jagdpanzer and escapes with his M4Cs in a very, very daring but also well-executed flank from both directions. This is exactly why I said that in this map a Jagdtiger wouldn't be all that good. Same for the Jagdpanzer 4. Of course, the Jagdpanzer 4 has a much better maneuverability, and as you could say, it's also a little bit cheaper. So, it's overall better in this regard than the Jagdtiger. But still, it still suffers from the same weakness of being an assault gun and having a fixed line of fire. having to turn the whole tank before you can fire against very strong medium tanks in a map that has some pretty much very open lines of sight and overall just allows vehicles to charge across unmolested without having really to worry about too many obstacles. Yeah, this does not bode all that well for something like a Jagdpanzer. Right now, however, it seems like Von Ivan's going to be able to use his infantry superiority to at least keep one of the VPs under his control, which is of course very, very good because it's allowing him more time to go for something bigger. Right now, we're going to be seeing the first Rakenwerfer coming out for him, which is definitely a good decision because right now he needs to conserve as much fuel as possible, but he also, needs to deal with the M4C Shermans. This is the third M4C Sherman for Earth, so of course, as you can see, lots and lots of allied medium armor on the field means that Germans are going to be in a very, very bad situation. Let's just speed it up because all that's happening right now is that, of course, Von Ivan's getting pushed back to his base. Very nice spot to put the Rakenwerfer in. It's going to get a nice couple of pot shots off on these M4Cs and then just survive as well. So, yeah, Rakenwerfers can work out in Von Ivan's favor. He just needs to get good positioning with them, which isn't going to be all that easy considering, again, there's 3 M4C Shermans on the field for Earth. And right now he's going to go for a second engineer. Looks like he's also lost the first engineer, so he's going to need to build 2 more, but that's fine. And overall, because he has 3 tanks, because it's a very open map that allows for plenty of lines of attack into an area, if the Rakenwerfers aren't positioned, I guess you could say just perfectly, and I guess also very conservatively, these Rakenwerfers are going to get flanked very, very easily by the M4Cs. The M4Cs have excellent maneuverability, so if they can get around in groups of 1 or 2, that's kind of important. Not blob up in just one blob of 3 M4Cs in a line of them, because while that provides, of course, extra firepower and a little bit more protection, I guess you could say, from having more numbers, what that also doesn't... Oh, this is... Yeah, this M4C is dead. Is it? Lucky. Anyway, what that also means is that the Rakenwerfers have to cover less ground, so they can concentrate more on one small sector, concentrate more shots into one area, and do more damage overall. Whereas if the M4Cs travel in groups of 1 or 2, they can just, I guess you could say, swarm around, attack from multiple directions, get behind these Rakenwerfers, and again, if the Rakenwerfers are, I guess you could say, a little bit far away from the base, then it doesn't really matter that there's a couple of Panzerfaust capable squads around. If the M4Cs attack from 3 different sides, with, of course, 3 50 caliber machine guns that they have in terms of upgrades, they can very, very easily overwhelm these Rakenwerfers, these 2 Rakenwerfers, and just tank them and destroy them in a straight-up fight, 3v2. But if the M4Cs attack from the front and take, unnecessary damage from the Rakenwerfers, this is not going to happen. Right now, it seems like the right side of the map is pretty much fully under Earth's control, and the left side is going to be Von Ivan territory. We have a 4th M4C Sherman coming in from Earth, so definitely at this point, a 2x2 formation is very much required. One of the 2 sides going in from one extreme flank and the other one going in from the center, I'm guessing, would be the best option. There are a couple of Goliaths and another Puma actually on the field for Von Ivan, so there are a couple of counters to the M4Cs along with the Rakenwerfers, providing a little bit of extra security for the flanks of these crucial weapons. But I guess you could say as a whole, if the M4Cs get some good flanks off, yeah, Von Ivan's going to be screwed. But right now it looks like they're moving out as a group, and where this, hammer falls will be a very, very, very important aspect of who actually gets to win this match. Now, at this point, the M4Cs are actually getting spotted by the infrared searchlight. But the infrared searchlight is going to go down, I'm guessing, because this M4C Sherman is riding straight for it at maximum speed. Right now, the other 2 M4Cs are going to be following up from behind, so looks like they have echeloned off into 2 groups. One free tank formation at the start, and then in the back, we have another tank following up. So they're going to be able to take down this mechanized regiment headquarters, and they might even be able to take down the battle group headquarters. But here comes the Puma plus the Rekenwerfers going to be redeployed. This is where the, I guess you could say, maneuverability of Rekenwerfer comes into play. One M4C Sherman might go down. It does. Pretty much a maximum range because of a pretty slow reaction time from Earth. And at this point, the M4Cs are going to have to retreat. What I would suggest is take a couple of these M4Cs and move in from the bridge, trying to flank these forces and provide as much confusion as possible. But the M4Cs are actually going to have a different mind and stay in the frontal engagement. And this is not going to work out all that well. Also because we have, as you can see, quite a lot of pathfinding issues between these M4C Shermans. They're going to try to defend their newly acquired points against the German infantry, which is going to work thanks to the Dushka. But here comes the M4C charge. One of the Rekenwerfers is running away, and that's, of course, a very, very nice opportunity for the rest of the M4Cs to go in and attack. Another Goliath blows up. There's another Goliath somewhere that's right now hidden. You know, taking a lot of damage from these Rekenwerfers. The M4Cs are going to have to retreat. This M4C is taking a lot of fire from, I'm guessing, the Puma, but the Puma has to retreat back to base because, of course, the M4Cs are very, very strong when it comes to their main guns. Right now, the Rekenwerfer is going to be replenished from the base, gets around and manages to get a nice shot. And oh no, these two M4C Shermans, one of them goes down to the Goliath. In fact, if the Goliath had been a little bit more lucky, it would have been able to get both of them. But the second one goes down to the Puma. Excellent chase coming in from von Ivan. In the meantime, in the base, we've had a massacre of German infantry from the other M4C Sherman, which has been pretty much uncontested and taking out a lot of German squads. So the Obersoldaten are dead. Another Volksgrenadier squad is dead, and it looks like one of the weapons dropped. So this is the cue for Earth to actually invade the rest of the map with his forces and capture a lot of points, secure himself map control. He has lost, however, 3 of his prized Shermans, and he has not destroyed either of the Rekenwerfers, nor the Puma. So we have pretty much 100% of the AT capabilities from von Ivan being intact, and only 25% of the tank strength for Earth being still around. So of course right now the main threat from Earth is pretty much dead. However, also, wow, another Dushka being captured by von Ivan. So overall, even the, well, this one might go down actually to the M4C's chase. Even the infantry situation, while the M4C in the base managed to absolutely splatter all those German troops, it's not going all that well for Earth when it comes to infantry either. So he's going to need to find something that can actually decisively finish this match before von Ivan can go for a KT. And I'm guessing that this time he's thinking about the KT because he does have a little bit of extra security when it comes to AT. He's got the medium AT of the Puma, and he's got the very nice Rekenwerfers that are now starting to also get vetted up. So overall, von Ivan in a pretty good position. He's also managed to, oh no, get a MP34 on the Volksgrenadiers. So this is going to be quite dangerous because, of course, the Volksgrenadiers with those 5 members do have quite a lot of survivability, and they can keep that MG34 for quite a long time. First victim is this engineer squad that goes down. So another M4C being pushed into service. It's going to get a couple shots off and then retreat. Overall, at this point, maybe Earth should have laid off on the M4C spam and gone for a Katyusha. But I feel like he also thinks that von Ivan's going to go in for some heavy vehicles soon enough. So he needs to get as much anti-vehicle firepower as possible, and these M4Cs are going to definitely help with that. In the meantime, yeah, the 2 Dushkas captured by von Ivan are going to be a little bit of a issue for Earth. But if he can keep his M4Cs alive, if he can perhaps even go for... Actually, no, he does not have a mortar. Perhaps even go, I guess you could say, for a little bit more of infantry. Because right now he's got 2 Penals. I mean, with veterancy free, they are okay. But I feel like a conscript or 2 would definitely benefit Earth to get him some extra map control. Not only that, but also the conscript repair kit is very, very, very good to help patch up these M4Cs. And as you can see right now, he does not really have the repair capacity to patch them up 100% of the time either with just combat engineers. He's having to build a 3rd combat engineer squad just to keep themselves fully repaired. So von Ivan using that nice salvage ability on that M4C Sherman, getting himself some extra resources that he desperately needs. He's not in the worst position. He's still, however, hurting when it comes to VPs at this point. 140 to 98. is the count. So both sides pretty much on the edge, and this third level veterancy Volkskrieger is going to go down. So another very potentially devastating loss for von Ivan. Overall, both sides getting stripped out of a lot of their most important units. So right now it's starting to get into a bit of a brawl of lower tier combatants. So this is going to get quite interesting. Yet more supply drops, and let's see what Earth does with this 380 manpower. Probably just wait for the M4C. Yep, third M4C Sherman on the field. I mean, the M4C Shermans haven't been working out as well as they could be for Earth, but really this is a problem not of unit selection, but of tactics. He's been constantly doing these frontal assaults of all of his M4Cs, just sort of grouped into one squadron, and that's not really working out. He should be spreading them out at this point, because his opponent is relying on a light vehicle and 2 AT guns as his AT defenses. So they're very much inflexible when it comes to defending against medium tanks, because the light vehicle can very, very easily be taken out by the M4Cs. 3 shots and this thing is dead. Guess how many M4Cs there are? 3. So right now, that should be a non-factor, actually, because if the M4Cs attack in a well-coordinated fashion from multiple angles, they can take out this Puma pretty much instantly in any engagement. The 2 Raketenwerfers, of course, are a little bit more of a pain because of their additional firepower, additional penetration, and of course, they can also stealth. But they're AT guns, so it doesn't really matter all of that if they get flanked. So right now, we do have the KT on the field, of course, as expected. Von Ivan went for that. And right now, with 3 M4Cs on the field and no prospect of having a 4th one available, Earth should be once again thinking about how to flank this King Tiger, because King Tiger can only be in one place at once, and of course its rear armor is quite vulnerable to the M4C's 76mm. So if the M4Cs just flank this King Tiger and this entire formation of AT guns and get behind the enemy, they can very easily take all of this out with 3 M4Cs. But why are they fighting essentially like tank destroyers, as you can see? They're keeping themselves at pretty much maximum range. Right now, the KT is pushing very aggressively into the base, which is definitely a mistake right now, because as you can see, it doesn't have any infantry support because most of the infantry is dead. The machine guns aren't being brought up quickly enough. One of the M4Cs goes down, but Earth has managed to lure in the King Tiger enough into the base to actually get a satchel charge off, damaging the engine. But the M4Cs, once again, are being very, very cautious, perhaps a little bit too cautious. They don't dive in and try to get into the rear of the KT. They just kind of stay in front and eat a lot of unnecessary fire from the Raketenwerfers and the Puma. So the AT line once again saving the Germans. And the King Tiger is going to be limping away at very, very low speeds. A second penal, of course the second penal does still have the satchel charge, so it's going to try to throw the satchel charge, but it gets pinned down very luckily by the now approaching Dushka. The other Dushka, however, can't stop the other penal battalion, and the other penal battalion is getting in close, mercilessly going to throw a satchel charge on the damaged KT. Will this be enough to destroy it, though? I'm not sure. It might not be, or it might be. I have actually got no clue. So here comes the satchel charge. Looks like this penal is going to sacrifice itself for the motherland. And there goes the KT. KT is down. So 2 M4Cs sacrificed for the KT. And the third M4C will now have a pretty free reign when it comes to... Well, actually, no, because the Puma is still around. It's actually Bet 2. And the Raketenwerfers are still around. So overall, we're back to kind of square one with... 1 M4C versus the Puma and the 2 Raketenwerfers, and the other 2 M4Cs being traded in for the KT. I would say that that's a favorable trade for Earth, because right now he has gained more mobility than his opponent. Von Ivan had waited for a long, long time to get that KT on the field. So Earth having this M4C Sherman does mean that he has essentially a general purpose tank that he can use on any side of the map to help himself out, capture points, especially the side VPs. However, will this Sherman go down? Damn. Excellent. Excellent work from that Puma, and definitely very reckless to just charge in very close to a Panzerschreck squad. Also, notice how Von Ivan went for 2 Panzerschrecks on his 2 Sturm Pioneers. I'm not 100% sure that 2 Panzerschrecks rather than 1 Panzerschreck and a Minesweeper was a good idea, but at least, oh damn it, at least 1 Panzerschreck was a very, very good decision just to help give that extra bit of flank protection to the Mechaniwerfers. So overall, the Earth is going to get a new M4C soon enough. It's going to be like, what, the 8th M4C? 7th, I think. At least the 7th M4C Sherman. Yeah, it will be the 7th M4C Sherman. So overall, while it hasn't been the most perfectly executed tactically of approaches, the strategy definitely is working. I mean, considering that Von Ivan is down to 40 VPs and Earth is down to 98, when pretty much in the early stages of the game we had Earth being pushed down to like 140, I think he had, at like, what, 14, 15 minutes? Yeah, it's definitely been working out for Earth to go for that spam of M4C Shermans. However, I feel like if he had been, you know, a lot more proactive when it came to the usage of them and a little bit more creative with them, doing more flanking rather than frontal assaulting, I think he would have been in a much, much better position than he is right now. Von Ivan is just kind of hanging on to the barely, you know, available space that Earth is letting him hang out in, clinging on to dear life with just a few points and a few units. However, at this point, considering how much infantry superiority we see on the field for the Germans, I mean, Von Ivan, if he can hold out for another big vehicle, then he's going to be in a good position. And for that, I feel like that he should be going for a Panther rather than a UKT, because he knows that Earth has lost all of his M4Cs, or, well, nearly. So the fact that he has managed to kill so many M4Cs should tell him that Earth is very, very much low when it comes to fuel. Because of that, if he can go for a Panther, he can just 1v1 or 1v2 the Allied tanks, and he can use his infantry superiority and his 2 stolen MGs plus 1 purchased MG. He can use these plus the Goliaths to hold down to at least 2 points at once, because again, he has the Goliaths, so he can wipe out infantry squads from a hidden, you know, hidden platform. And right now, there goes that poor combat engineer. Whoa. Well, what is this Goliath doing? Damn. He can just kind of ambush the infantry with the Goliaths and then suppress them with the MGs, thus preventing them pretty much from capturing any points. We'll see if he wants to go for that, or if he wants to go for another KT. I mean, he's going to have enough resources for a Panther soon enough, and we only have 1 M4C on the field. Soon enough a second, but this soon enough really isn't that soon. I mean, it's going to be 5 minutes for a new M4C. Let's just speed it up very quickly. So unless Earth can make something happen with his inferior infantry force right now, then he's going to be in a very, very bad position. Oh, interesting. The OKW Dishk only has 3 levels of veterancy. I'm guessing it's the same veterancy as the burst control and accuracy. Burst control and accuracy, yeah, it's got the same veterancy as the Soviet one. Wow. Okay, I didn't know actually. I just thought it gained the same veterancy stats as the MG34. However, yeah, another Goliath goes down, and right now it looks like the right side is going to get taken over by Earth. So very good job from him, using the M4C to capture the left and using the superior, I guess you could say, locally infantry to capture the right. So good force allocation from him is going to allow him to get a little tiny bit of extra, you know, oomph when it comes to the VP game. Right now, only 28 points for Von Ivan and 68 for Earth. So any point counts at this point. Any 1 VP ticket is going to be excellently important. And right now, unfortunately, this M4C is going to go down again. And I don't see how Earth, if Von Ivan can use, you know, oh damn, actually the M4C might just survive. The Puma tries to chase it down, but it's a little bit too late. Gets another shot in, misses, and the M4C is going to be able to get behind the buildings. While the Puma tries to flank around, yeah, it's going to kill that M4C Sherman. But, yeah, at this point, it's just a question of how Earth can defend the points without tanks. Right now, it's not going all that badly for him. He's still got 170 munitions, actually, so What that means is that he can use at least one demo charge, if not two. And with the fact that he's got a lot of engineers, he can just kind of run around and recapture a lot of Dushkas. He can also try to hold onto dear life for the right side with a couple of these penals. There's only a Dushka available for Von Ivan to capture this side, and it looks like Von Ivan is kind of pulling in most of his forces to kind of just hold the center at all costs, and then try to get a little bit of control over the right. But it remains to be seen how well he can do that. Still kind of on the fence, you know? Still up for debate who's going to be coming out on top. If I were a betting man, I would go on Von Ivan. I mean, he's about to go for another KT. And Earth just barely away from another M4C Sherman, but another M4C Sherman versus a KT isn't really going to be all that useful. And if the KT can just be parked into one of these areas, and all of the other units from Von Ivan can be parked into another VP, yeah, I'm pretty sure Von Ivan can just kind of hold 2 VPs by virtue of that. And with 60 VPs left for Earth, that is going to be pretty much 3 minutes left for him. 1 minute if a triple cap can be reached by Von Ivan, but I guess that a triple cap would actually be a pretty bad idea for Von Ivan because he does not want to spread out his troops. He wants to keep them well concentrated onto these 2 VPs that he wants to hold. If he can hold 2 VPs at least, he's going to be in a good position. And right now, this, the presence of this Puma is actually very, very good. Because with the Veterancy Free, he does get a little bit of extra... this weapon's potency, I think, also applies to the MG. So it does give it a little bit more of extra utility versus infantry. Right now, we're going to have a capture attempt from these penals, but an excellent shot coming in. The aimed shot used against the infantry takes down 2 models. And right now, one of the M4Cs goes to the right side. The M4C over here is going to encounter pretty much no resistance when it comes to AT, except for the Puma. However, the center is going to be held down by the KT very, very easily. So M4C takes down the machine gun. That's allowing the Soviet infantry to come in and capture the point, but the Soviet infantry doesn't seem to be all that interested in this. It's going to try to slow down the Puma, which is now up to Veterancy 4, and the Veterancy 4 Puma is going to absolutely smash that M4C back to where it came from. And right now, with 2 VPs under Earth's control, he's actually sneakily draining in the VPs. 17 are left for Von Ivan, and these combat engineers are actually kind of deceptively dangerous on the right side, because if they can take down this Dushka crew with the 2 rifles that they have, they can actually neutralize this point. However, it looks like the center is going to be recaptured by Von Ivan with a machine gun. So Von Ivan with the KT can easily hold down this center. He's actually going to make, I think, a mistake and push into KT without any support to delay the, I'm guessing to delay the Allied forces in the base. He's going to eat a Satchel Charge for his troubles. However, yeah, the Königstiger brings the Satchel Charge into the Dushka crew and destroys it. And overall, with the support of this MG, the Königstiger is going to survive. Also, on the right side, the combat engineers have been forced back into base, and I'm guessing that this is going to be the end. Again, I feel like that this mostly came down to tactics. I feel like Von Ivan played the engagements a whole heck of a lot better in some crucial moments than Earth. While Earth played very well overall, he just kind of messed up with his M4Cs at crucial moments, pushing them into the front of the German units, and then even after knowing the location of the German troops, just sort of, I guess you could say... Wait, what? I guess you could say a little bit thick-headedly continued to keep his units in the front of the Germans rather than trying to bring them around for a flank, which is really what you're supposed to do with these M4Cs. They can't really deal at, a face-off, a standoff with German units. While they're, of course, better than T-34s at that, it's still not their role. So you need to be flanking with them as much as possible. And Earth was not able to do that nearly as much as he probably could have, considering also this is crossing in the woods. So there are plenty of flanking opportunities pretty much all over the map. So overall, I want to thank you all for watching. I am guessing that this is going to be the outcome of the game. I mean, Earth is still trying, actually. He's still got a chance. I mean, he's going to be able to neutralize the right side. And with the KT coming in, of course, he's not going to be able to capture it. But he's also got a penal squad over in the center. Actually, with all these troops in the center, he's not going to be able to capture that. However, yeah, he's still trying with only 11 points down for Von Ivan. This is definitely a little bit more dangerous than it looks, just charging in random infantry and getting some nice work done with that. Again, had these like 8 Emphrases, these 8 Emphrases been used a little bit better, I feel like Earth could have definitely had this in the bag. Or perhaps, at any point in the game, a Katyusha would have, helped out quite a lot. The Puma definitely helped for Von Ivan. 13 kills. I'm guessing that a few of these are vehicles, actually. Yep, 5 vehicles destroyed for this Puma. Veteran C5. At this point, there's no doubt that this unit definitely paid for itself. And overall, I feel like Von Ivan pretty much nailed all the build order choices. I mean, what to build when really came through for him in the end. The Pumas did seem a little bit weird at first, but yeah, definitely I can see why he went for them. They provided a lot of extra support for his, or I guess you could say more fixed AT weapons that were supposed to bring in the damage, covered by the Puma. And then the Puma at some point also kind of transitioned into the Chaser, managed to chase down a couple of M4Cs as they were escaping. And then the KT, of course, yeah, the big mistake that Von Ivan made this game was just the first KT. If he hadn't lost that early, I feel like he would have not been in this position with 11 VPs to 0. But he was able to very, very well recover, keep his cool, sort of keep himself in the game, and then eventually get back with a second KT. I thought that he was going to go for a Panther, but in the end, I think the KT was the better choice, waiting for the KT a second time. It definitely helped him out a lot more than the Panther would have, because it also provided a lot of anti-infantry, as opposed to just anti-vehicle. So yeah, pretty much that's just my opinions. If you've got any differing ones, say it in the comments, just plop that down. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like. If you didn't, dislike this piece of shit video, and I'll see you soon.